Welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. I'm Eric, and on today's show, we're going to cook a ribeye steak. Amy got me some ribeyes for Christmas because she knows they're my favorite cut of meat. In fact, when we go out for a hamburger, we go where they serve ribeyes. Why? Because they're juicy, they're flavorful, and they're probably the best thing I can think of eating at any given time. There's many ways to cook a ribeye, but I'm going to show you how to make it flavorful and juicy. Now let's get cooking. On this ribeye, you'll notice it has quite a bit of marbling. It has all this fat just there and the little marbles, little specks everywhere. And what that's going to do is when we cook it, it's going to render and produce tons of flavor and juiciness. A lot of steaks you would marinate to add more flavor, but with a steak this high caliber, I think it should speak for itself with minimum seasonings such as salt, pepper, onion, and garlic. Now there's several products out there that can do this for us. A couple of my favorites are Montreal steak seasoning. Weber makes a roasted garlic herb. But today I'm going to use something else that Amy got me for Christmas, which is the Steak and Chop seasoning, which it contains primarily those four flavorings. So we're going to go ahead and put just a little bit of veggie oil to help the seasoning stick. I'm just going to go ahead and rub that on. And we're just going to go ahead and put this on. And then we're going to go and put it back in the fridge when we're done. This is a 1 pound ribeye, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half to create two 8-ounce portions. And I'm just going to rub a little oil on the sides and then down the sides a little bit. Pat that down. One of the problems when you're cooking a thick piece of meat such as this ribeye is when you pan sear it, you need to get the pan at a really high temperature, but it's not going to cook all the way through, and sometimes the meat will just get gray and dry and it's just a mess. It's mushy. So what we're going to do is something a little different. We're going to actually put this in the oven first, and we're going to cook it, and then we'll put it on the end. We'll pan sear all the sides. So for this, what we're going to do is for rare, medium rare, you put it in a 275 degree oven for 20-25 minutes until the middle registers 90 to 95 degrees, or if you want it medium, you can do it 25 to 30 minutes, and then the middle should register 100 to 105. Since I like mine medium rare, I'll do 20-25. Okay, so we're just going to put it onto a wire rack that's inside a baking sheet like this, and we'll put it into a preheated 275 degree oven. So it's been about 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and check the temperature in the oven here, into the middle. And I'm reading about 95 degrees, which is in the area I want it. We'll check the other one as well. And it's right on. Now that we've taken the steaks out of the oven, you're going to use a 12-inch skillet and about a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and then put the meat in. In this case, I'm using cast iron. So we're going to cook it on the one side for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. And then we're going to flip it and do the next sides for about 2 to 2.5 minutes. You're going to bring your skillet up to the smoking point of the oil. You may have to turn it down if the font on the bottom starts to burn. Go ahead and flip. See how we have nice crust. We're going to go ahead and now flip these using the two steak procedure where you use the tongs to sear each of the remaining sides. And we're going to do this for about a minute and a half each. We're going to do the next side. We're going to go ahead, because I'm going to be making a pan sauce, I'm going to go ahead and put this on a wire rack and let it rest while I make the sauce. Otherwise, you can go ahead and serve these immediately. You'd still want them to rest really, because you always want the juices to redistribute. You don't want to just cut in your steak and let it go everywhere. But I'm going to go ahead and prepare the sauce now. So now we're going to make the pan sauce. So first thing we're going to do is we reduce the heat down to a medium high until it's just smoking. We're going to drain the grease. In this case, it's a heavy pan, so I'm just going to go ahead and wipe out the grease from the steaks. And then once we have that wiped out, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. And we're going to add 8 ounces of sliced white mushrooms and cook them until they are soft and the liquid is evaporated, which will be about 5 minutes. Now we're going to go and add 1 small shallot that's minced, and we're going to cook it for about a minute, and we're going to stir frequently. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of dry red wine. We're also going to turn the temperature up, back up to high. And we're also going to add a half a cup of low sodium chicken broth. And we're just going to stir the pan to try to get up any of the bits from the steak. And we're going to cook this. We're going to actually try to get this reduced to about 1 cup of liquid, which is going to take about 6 minutes. Okay, now that this sauce has reduced, we're going to add the last ingredients, which is a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and a teaspoon of fresh thyme that we've chopped up. And then we're going to take this off the heat. Get another minute here. Two tablespoons of unsalted butter that I've chopped into 4 different slices. And we're just going to go ahead and stir that in. And we're going to go and add some juices from the steak that's been resting. So now that the steaks have had a chance to rest 10 minutes, and we also made the sauce during that time period, it's time to go ahead and plate all this up. So we're just going to go ahead and get some of these mushrooms, get a bunch of the juice. And then I also have some blue cheese over here that I'm going to go ahead and put on here. And Now I'm ready to take a test here. So I cooked this to a medium rare. See, there's quite a bit of pink on this. It's really tender. Obviously it's juicy. The sauce is fantastic. Even if this didn't have the sauce added, the meat is just incredible. The mushrooms and the blue cheese add an incredible layer of flavor on top of just the basic meat. And of course we had salt and pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder in the original seasoning that we did. We put it in the oven at 275 degrees for about 20 minutes. If you want it to be medium, you may want to leave it in there for a little bit longer. Probe it in the center just to make sure that somewhere around 100, 110 if you want medium, or if you want medium rare, 90 to 95 is good. And then you bring it into a pan that's on high, and you do each of the two big sides, of course, for about 1.5 to 2.5 minutes each. And then if you are doing multiple steaks, you have to use tongs, but you do each of the sides for a total of about 1.5 minutes. The main thing is to get it where it's brown on all the sides. Once you have that, then let your meat rest for about 10 minutes. That way it'll be nice and juicy. Tinning it is great for that. And if you are going to do the sauce, then that's a perfect time to go ahead and cook up the sauce in the same pan. That way you get the bits from the meat all into the sauce, and it just adds that extra flavor. If you like this video, please subscribe below. Please also visit our website, www.AmyLearnsToCook.com. We're also on Twitter at twitter.com/AmyLearnsToCook. I can put some of that on my oatmeal in the morning. Yeehaw!